Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is time for the I Seen It, or excuse me, the I Seen It, rather, movie reviews podcast. I'm your host, Jerry Saylor. In the studio tonight with me, as always, my two best friends in the whole wide world, Dusty B.
Hey, everybody, how's it going?
What's up?
Hey.
And, of course, the man, the legend, Tim Holmes. We do have a special guest for you tonight. She hails from, I guess, Florida originally, I guess. Okay, yeah, we'll go with that. The lovely and talented Jenny Day.
Hello.
Jenny had the pleasure of going to a movie with all three of us tonight, and we saw the new release. Well, it was released last week, but we couldn't get to see it till today. Den of Thieves, the all-new action, drama, thriller, bank heist, whatever you want to call it, genre of film, starring Ice Cube's son, Ice Nugget.
O'Shea Jackson.
O'Shea Jackson Jr., I'm assuming that is. Fat Russell Crowe. What's his name? Gerard Butler. Yeah. This is Sparta! For those of you who don't know what other movies he's been in. Who else was in that? What's the guy you got
Oh, Pablo Schreiber.
Yeah, that guy.
He played Pornstache, bro.
Yeah.
50 Cent is in this movie.
50 Cent.
Curtis Jackson.
50 Cent Jackson.
Effing vodka. A slew. Well, not really a slew, but like 2 UFC fighters were in it.
Yes, Max Holloway and Michael Bisping.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who else? What other big names were in this flick?
Not a lot. Those are pretty much the biggest names, TBH.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's what.
The guy from 8 Mile who looked like Flea.
Yeah, Fat Flea
Fat
was
Flea.
in this. Yeah.
Yeah, he does look like Flea. It's
Yeah.
A lot of decent actors. I mean, I've seen them in stuff, but I mean, they're not like huge names.
Right.
Like I think Fat Russell Crowe is probably like the biggest one, or 50 Cent. I'm just gonna keep calling him Fat Russell Crowe.
That's cool.
Because that's kind of what he looked like to me. Was a Fat Russell Crowe who'd been on like a week long.
He gained
alcohol
like 20,
binge.
They said he gained 25 pounds for the movie. So
of
like,
pure
dang.
muscle.
Yeah, I was gonna say he didn't look all that like fat. Like
Yeah.
he looked like he just like old.
I was going to say, he looked age appropriate,
Yeah.
honestly.
He looked like how you would expect a 20, 30-year veteran cop to look.
Yeah, he looked rough,
You know?
is what I said.
Yeah.
I said, he looks rough.
He looked rough.
Still had those beefy arms, though.
Yeah.
He still had that, like, Gerard Butler, almost as Gerard Butler.
The roll of quarters in the pocket. I'm just kidding.
I hate her. He's just mad because all the ladies love him.
Always looking at people like he's about to kick him into a bottomless pit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he looked like you guys know the main reason why I came to see this movie was for Gerard.
Was Gerard Butler,
Really?
yeah.
Right.
She told me, she was like, my panties get wet.
I think
Gerard
I
Butler
just flooded
movies.
my basement.
Yeah.
That's a good PG way of putting it.
Yeah.
But I mean, decent flick overall. We're going to break it down for you tonight, guys. Give you a little plot synopsis, and then we're going to
Spoiler
go
alert.
into
Yeah. Spoilers.
yeah.
Way.
a lot of all the spoilers we can give you.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go into what we liked, what we didn't like about the movie, and you guys can decide from there whether or not you guys want to go
Maybe
see
compare and contrast other heist movies to this
Yeah,
movie.
see where it
Yeah.
stands in like the spectrum of heist movies as it would be. Anybody want to volunteer to break this movie down?
I got you.
Okay.
Jesus, man, he didn't give me a chance.
Oh. Well, I mean.
It's cool. Go for it.
Well, how about Dusty starts it off,
Okay.
and you finish it up?
All right.
Okay.
How do you want me to start this off?
That's up to you.
All right, that's cool. So basically, it's just a gang of guys that are all. I guess they're all played. What? 2 of them played football together. So it was 50 Cent and what was the
Pablo
Schreiber.
Pablo, yeah, Pablo
Pornstache.
Schreiber. Yeah, Pornstache.
Or his
I
name
guess-
in the movie was Merriman.
Yeah.
If that's helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were they were Marines together.
They were Marines, played football
They
together.
played
yeah.
football together. Did they say they were in jail together?
They said that all of them were
yeah, I think so.
Marines, and like a few of them had done time together.
Yeah. The movie to me kind of started out a little quick.
It did.
With the armored car heist.
Yes.
Was
yeah.
like that's the open of the movie.
Yeah.
I
So it
honestly
started out really
walked
fast.
in, remember late, so literally I'm walking in as the movie's starting, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Pardon the F-bomb. But it was still like, there was so much going on. You didn't know where to look. You honestly just felt like, I was like, I have no idea what's going on right now because I literally knew nothing about the movie.
But you literally
beforehand.
walked in as it was starting. Like I messaged you like, hey, the movie's starting right now.
Like she walked in when they're at the donut shop.
Yeah, which
Like
is like
the
a
very-
minute into the movie.
Like the only thing you missed was there's like one bank robbery every 48 minutes in California or South California.
something like that. Yeah.
Southern California. And this is the bank heist capital of the world. Which when I saw that line, I was like, if I hear them say that, this movie's trash. Because like it was like, this is the bank heist capital of the world. And I was like, if they say that, because like sometimes you see in a movie where they're trying to sell you the fact that Southern California is the bank heist capital of the world.
Like in The Lost Boys, when on the back of the thing it says
the
murder capital of the world.
And then everybody every time is like, this is the
Dun,
murder
dun,
capital of the world.
Yeah.
You know, you're living in the murder capital of the world. So I thought that was going to happen, but it didn't.
No.
Thank God.
Do I live in like the big booby women capital of the world? Because there's such a place that we can move to where there's that.
Probably Southern California.
Yeah. Probably the same place. Yeah. They share a title. But yeah, you got a group of guys that all are they're well trained together.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, they're military trained. You know, they're all friends. You know, like there was the line in the movie, "Loose lips sink ships."
Right.
Mhm.
So, so yeah, like the movie started off at the armored truck was going to the donut shop. I guess the guys in the armored truck were getting breakfast, and then you know they get surrounded by
It starts popping off.
Yeah, like instantly.
Yeah.
Which typically I like movies that kind of start out
Yeah,
like
It
that.
was pretty
Yeah.
intense.
Yeah.
That scene.
I liked it when the dude jumped on the hood. He's like, "There's armor-piercing rounds in the
Yeah.
gun." He's
Yeah.
like, "You don't do what I tell you. I don't want to send these to the windshield." So,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely, like, you get the impression right off the bat that this is all very well rehearsed.
Mhm.
They're professional.
Listen, now see, I kind of didn't get that. Because after they do the whole thing, like they go back and they're kind of like shitty to the one guy
Right.
because he let the other guy get shot and he shot another.
Fat
Flea. He shot a cop.
Yeah, he shot a cop.
Flea was
Yeah.
the one that started popping off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I kind of didn't get the vibe that it was like planned out.
Well, maybe that they had rehearsed it, but maybe they weren't as professional as they had originally come off.
Right.
But like when he jumped up on the hood with the drill gun for the armored car windshield, I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they were expecting all this.
Yeah.
That
I
was
think-
like Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I kind of got that vibe too.
I think they were more upset to the fact that they killed cops. I think that's why they got shitty. It's because they killed that one guy. That one
not just
cop
cops.
went for his
They
gun.
killed somebody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that too. But the cop went for his gun and they shot him.
Yeah.
And then it
I
was either
clearly
us
saw
or
the
them.
cop reach for his gun, and they were like, "Did he reach for his gun? I don't
Yeah,
think he was
yeah.
reaching
He
for
reached
his
for his
gun." And I'm
gun.
like, "Motherfucker, I just seen it on tape. Sorry, I dropped the F-bomb." But I was like, "Dude, I just seen it.
Yeah.
I
You
just seen
synced
it."
Yeah.
How they were standing there? How did they not seen it?
And
Yeah.
why would he drop his coffee? I mean, like, even if he was just nervous and scared and dropped his coffee, it was something that you know. I mean, like, if he was a cop, or if the other guy was a cop, and the guy holding the coffee was a bank robber, and he dropped his coffee, he probably would have got shot.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Right.
he didn't do anything that a cop wouldn't do to somebody else.
Right.
Basically, is what I'm saying.
Right. Okay. So
Yeah.
needless to
Moving
say,
forward.
yeah, moving forward. Opening scene, fast paced, lots of action, lots of guns.
So then the Boondock Saints style recap of what happened from the police perspective is the next thing that happens, which you meet Russell Crowe and the regulators,
Yeah.
which they are, I guess
You're
they go
confused.
by
So many people keep saying Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe, Fat Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like a group of.
No, you
dirty
got me all
cops.
thrown off.
So-
Gerard Butler's crew, yeah.
It was pretty funny because I think the thing that really let you know that they were going to be dirty cops was they were literally. All right. So this thing happened at a donut shop, right?
Right.
And they start eating the donuts,
Donuts.
that are from the evidence. Like they're like, oh, some of them is not covered in blood, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he totally goes for one.
He totally
The
is.
the one with sprinkles was really good, and like he picks up the one with the sprinkles on it.
Like
Open
how
it
he
up.
eats
It
it.
was.
Throws it in the fucking. Oh, sorry. Throws it in the scene. Sorry, I think we've
Yeah,
all
that
done
was-
what's
Yeah.
in.
When the
But,
FBI agent comes in and he's all like, "You just threw a donut onto a live scene."
Yeah.
And he's like,
Yeah, I
did
did.
I?
My bad.
So yeah, you get the impression right off the bat that they're not the cleanest cops
Not
in the world.
not the by the book
Right.
as they should be.
But the regulators.
Yeah. No. I was waiting for that line the whole movie, but I never got it. But yeah, you get introduced to Russell Crew, or I always said Russell's crew. Gerard Butler's dirty cop crew.
Right.
Let's just call him GB for the rest of the episode.
Okay, GB.
Right. GB.
If I can remember that.
Just think GB.
I'm thinking FRC. But yeah, you meet his crew, and then where's it go from there?
Pretty quickly, you find out that the armored truck was empty.
Yeah, which I thought was kind of like, what?
Well, so did they.
Yeah.
So they go back to HQ, and GB is breaking down the crime scene and everything and trying to figure out, they're trying to pinpoint a motive. Why either they didn't know that the armored truck was empty, or they did know and there's some other plot involved.
Yeah.
Which immediately then they get the idea to go to, was it Izzy's Hofbrau?
Oh, it was Ziggy's
Hofbrau
house.
But
because that's where Merriman, who just got released from prison, which they talked about in that scene 8 months earlier, is a common hangout for him.
yeah, which thing I didn't like was like they were just like, oh yeah, we'll just go there. It was no other police work. It was like, oh, this guy right here, he'll flip right now. And
Right.
it was
There's
just
no real
kinda
police
just-
work. It's just kind of like, I've got a hunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
and-
they identified Merriman too quickly, to
Really,
be
yeah.
honest, and it was like,
yes.
like this
Yeah.
guy just got. I know it's him. Like,
Yeah.
there's no backstory or ever like he ever crossed paths with a guy.
Yeah.
He was just like,
Yeah.
it's Merriman.
It puts you in the mind of John Travolta in Face Off, the kind of police work that they do in that movie when they're the
I just knew
task
it was
force.
Castro.
They're
Yeah.
just that darn
Just
good,
know it's
man.
Castor
Yeah,
Troy.
they're just
Yeah.
that good.
But it's just, like you said, it all seemed way too quick, way too
Convenient.
that they were just like, oh, when did he get out? Oh, 8 months ago? He's got to be our guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
let's
he
look-
was in
let's
for
look at
8
this guy.
months. What happened during those 8 months? No heist happened during
Yeah.
those 8 months. Like, I thought
Every
LA was
40
the biggest.
minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought LA was the biggest, bank heist capital of the world. But
Right.
no,
Really?
nothing happened within those 8 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they go through like the list of crimes that are unsolved
Right.
that were
Well-
committed while he was out, and then they break down, oh, well, nothing happened while
Yeah.
he was...
How many organized bank heists were done while he was away?
None.
None.
Yeah.
Gotta be him. He's out, gotta be him. Let's go round him up.
And there wasn't even a bank heist. It was an armored car heist, and the car was empty.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Convenient,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, and my thing is, it's like, if he knows, they had pictures of his crew before.
Right.
Yeah.
We automatically knew all of his associates.
Yeah.
Because they play football together.
Yeah, but I played.
And we're also in the military together.
Right.
And they also serve time.
Wait a second,
Together,
though.
yeah.
Just kind of okay. So the guy that got killed in the heist, though, didn't they identify him through him? Now that I'm thinking about it,
Maybe.
They did
But if
identify
you're-
him.
They
Yeah. Right,
identified
yeah.
the dead body, and then they were like, "Well, his known associates
Is
are
Merriman.
so and so, so and so, and so
And
so."
Merriman.
Now
Right.
that I'm thinking about it,
And Merriman had just gotten out of jail.
yes.
That's true. Okay, so
So
give him
maybe
that.
you know what I mean.
Still
we
convenient that
retracted
they ID'd him.
our previous statements of the plot convenience.
which is also, so if they were so well organized, why would they leave someone who could tie them back to each other? Or
How can
you know,
they go back and get him though?
he
There
died right there. They
But
could have
there
They
was
coulda
thrown him.
took
cops
him.
all
They could have
over
thrown him in the armored car.
They were leaving mid shootout.
No, all
Right.
the
All the
cops around
were
him were dead
Yeah.
or
I thought that
wounded.
there was still some that were still shooting at them when they drove away.
Nobody
Because they
chased
got
him.
a clean getaway.
Yeah, nobody chased
Nobody
him.
chased them, but why would you go back to a live shootout
They
to
were-
retrieve a dead
Well,
body?
that's what I'm
My
saying
thing
they
is,
coulda
they
got
could have done it before they even
Before
They
they
could
left.
have
took
set
off.
him on
Right.
fire.
Just threw him in the
There
armored
goes your
truck.
evidence.
Yeah,
Could've
just throw him in the armored truck.
Which was empty.
Again, you
Yeah.
have to go through
Plenty of
all
room
this
for a dead body.
crossfire. You have to go through all this crossfire in order to get to the dead body.
Yeah, well, the truck was basically kind of backed up to the guy already, pretty much, and they're already
'Cause
they
they're- I'm
already
just saying,
killed the cops.
They
pretty
could have
much.
very easily
How
got the
clearly
guy.
are you thinking, Dusty B, why you got bullets flying at your head?
Well, the cops.
They
were
already shot all
dead.
the
They already
cops,
shot
though.
all the cops.
I don't know. Maybe
Totally
I was
clean
too
getaway.
high to remember.
Good
Yeah.
possibility. Okay,
If they were professional, they probably would have at least done something.
mutilated the corpse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ripped
shot
off
him
his
up.
like,
face.
fingerprints.
Well,
and
Take his
stuff.
they
face
did say
off.
they bleach bombed the car.
Yeah.
So couldn't you bleach bomb the dead body?
or something.
Maybe.
So anything.
There was
Well,
some
if he bleach bombed the
Two-Face
dead
acid
body-
on him.
Yeah, acid probably would have been the best way.
Yeah.
Which they
Still have
had
fingerprints.
access to
They
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
when you
They-
go further
Later on in
movie.
the movie, yeah.
They're pulling it up and the thing like
Yeah, with
This
the
is
masks
you.
on.
Which
Yeah.
is totally a waste because they don't go through with it.
yeah, the
Yeah.
guy was just like, okay.
Okay, I'm done.
we got a barrel for next time, guys. We pre-planned it.
Yeah.
All right.
So then, but we've got that scene wrapped
we
up.
did.
That is,
Yeah.
we have focused a long time on
Yeah,
that
that
scene.
scene. So moving forward is they go to Ziggy's Hofbrau and meet Ice Nugget
Ice Nugget.
Yes.
and
O'Shea
start hitting
Jackson.
on him.
His name was
Yeah.
Donnie, and Donnie O'Shea Jackson was named Donnie.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Right.
He's just the bartender there, and they just like kind of automatically,
Now-
you know this guy?
Now this bar, like he says in the movie, it's like a neutral ground. Like a lot of cops and detectives
Right.
hang out there,
Which
and
is
also a lot of
plot
like
specific.
yeah, and a lot of like shady characters as well.
Right.
Uh,
Den of Thieves, if it was
Yeah.
anything.
essentially, I think that's probably where they got the title.
The thing that was really cool about that part, though, honestly, is in the end how Gerard Butler takes
GB.
him. Yes, GB. Remember, he was talking to him all
Kinda
like,
hitting on him.
yeah, he was like, "You're
I'd bang ya."
cute." I'd fuck you. Pardon the f-bomb.
I said bone. just
Yeah,
throwing
I
out
said
there.
it, but I was using his actual words.
I know.
That was a
okay.
quote from the movie. I'll let it slide.
Okay.
But then he follows him out to his car and tases him. I mean,
Right.
the guy wakes up in like this hotel room, like,
He did bang me. That's the first thing I
Why
said.
my
"Oh,
pants
my
wet?
pants wet."
Yeah, why are my pants wet? If you guys are into some of that homo stuff, like that's cool. Just kill me now.
Yeah.
But they're surrounded by hookers and
Which is not like all that why, you know?
just to
Why,
show they're
what?
dirty cops.
Yeah, just really to paint them as dirty cops. Because
mean-
when they start the interrogation, to get rid of the broads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
like, how long was he out? And why did they bring hookers?
Yeah, why did they bring hookers?
Yeah.
To
Honestly,
also, they could corroborate any kind of story, you know, like if Ice Nugget turned out to be innocent, then, you know, like there's a bunch of witnesses to show them like he had been kidnapped by the police.
Right.
Yeah, kind of weird.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, but they're hookers.
I was
Yeah,
going to
they're
say, but they're
hookers.
hookers.
Who's gonna believe a whore?
Horse don't get a second chance.
Yeah.
So then the interrogation starts, which
He flops big time. But now I see why.
I mean,
he
after
did.
getting the headlock.
Getting ahead of us.
So
Right.
I want to go spoilers. We find out at the very end of the movie that this is all Ice Nugget's plan.
Yeah.
Everything that he had been planning plays off perfectly. So did he know that GB was going to like tase him and kidnap him?
I think we're good.
I was
Maybe
wondering
we
that
should
too.
wait to get to that, honestly, because like
There's a lot
the
to dissect
how
there.
to and how they get there is going to be arguably what we're talking about for like the other heist movies where we go. But I mean, just going from what
But
you
this
were,
also plays big into the acid scene.
does.
Because the only two people that know the whole plan are Porn Stash and Ice Nugget.
Yes, but the way that it's perceived the whole time throughout the movie is that this is all Porn Stash's plan.
Right.
So at this point in the movie with us, I mean, we're kind of jumping the gun a little bit just
Right.
because like we still have so much to dive into with those cops, honestly.
That would and it would explain why he didn't kill him at that moment
Yes.
because he had so much information.
But if you give the evidence from Porn Stash's perspective, Ice Nugget comes to him with this whole plan.
Right.
And if he got picked up by the police, wouldn't Porn Stash be like, I would be on full alert. I would want to
And
be done.
he was on full alert. I mean, like, okay, so basically going from what you were saying about the last point in the movie before we jumped all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Okay, so the cops obviously identify that they're dirty cops. Like we don't have to go to the police. We'll just kill you. That's the absolute attitude that he had. Starts like strangling him there and everything. And then they finally get to what the plot twist is what they're getting ready to rob. And they're robbing the Bank of Banks. That's
Yeah.
what makes it interesting.
The
about
Federal Reserve of California.
Yeah,
Right.
they're robbing the bank that all the banks go
Go to.
Right.
It's got like billions of dollars in there, and then they actually identified that.
What was the
there's-
exact number of billions?
It was like
I don't-
8 billion or something like
It was
that.
a
I think
lot
it
of
was,
billions, yeah. It was
And
up
what,
there.
10 million gets burned or gets
30
It's
million.
30 million
30
gets
million gets
torn.
but another key point
It
of that
gets
was
taken
it's
out of
untraceable.
rotation.
Right.
Because the part of what they do at that bank is they keep records of every dollar that's printed. It's the Federal Reserve. It's what they do.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they also they're completely managing all of the U.S.'s money. Essentially, at some point, should cross their path if necessary. So you find out there's $30 million that gets incinerated every day, and
Shredded.
That's
Shredded. Gets
Yeah.
shredded.
I thought I got incinerated.
No,
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 you
shredded.
can see it
Shredded,
go
yeah.
through the shredder.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so either way, they destroy $30 million every day.
Right.
And they also tell you that there's a high level of difficulty to get into the bank because, first
That's
of all,
the Federal
the
Reserve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So the Federal Reserve, you have to go down 2 levels first of all in order to get to the money. You have to go through security, give them they scan your face and they can tell if you've ever committed a felony. You got to
Right.
give them your ID. So they basically identify the only way to get into this building is if they go in through another level.
But
You
hold
know,
on, hold on.
My
hold-
thing with the whole face scanning thing was that dude had a record.
They
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they never sit.
But
They're
they
supposed
go
to pick up
in-
his face, so they never
Right.
say anything to
when
him.
he's a Chinese
But
delivery
you
yeah,
guy.
remember
exactly.
the way they end up going in. Well, if you're a Chinese food delivery guy,
You're
obviously,
kind of expecting to have a
and
criminal
there
record.
you are holding 2 bags that give you.
Yeah,
your
but I get that.
access.
But they
Right.
basically looked him up like, oh yeah, he ain't got nothing.
But hold on, we're getting a little bit too far in advance
Again.
because we're still at the interrogation scene.
No, we're talking about the
Timeline.
bank.
Yeah,
But I know, but that's where we left off was the interrogation scene. But hold on. Oh, I just want to gotta get everybody else caught up. So GB interrogates him to find out how he knows Porn Stash, and Ice Nugget gives his whole retelling.
So says I'm just the driver. I know nothing.
I know
Right, I know
nothing, yeah.
nothing.
I know nothing.
Merriman, Porn Stash comes to him with the bank heist. But he doesn't tell him anything. He's just looking for a driver, and the police let him go, but saying like we're going to keep dibs on you because we want to get Porn Stash back and stop this bank heist.
Right.
But we don't have anything, so we're watching you.
So then they
So then
then they go
Mary-
into the bank
right
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
heist.
okay, and then they're at that
I was
restaurant.
gonna say the restaurant scene.
The restaurant.
Yeah.
But you know what? Okay, before we get to the restaurant scene, this is okay, we got to talk about this scene because it was literally the funniest scene in the whole movie was when Fitty was at his house and
Yeah.
his daughter's getting ready to go on that date.
They had a Bad Boys 2 moment.
That's what
Yeah.
it's
It was a
so
Bad Boys
like
2
you
moment.
look like
Yeah.
you're 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old are you? 15. You look 30. Yeah.
Ludicrous looking mother trucker.
Yeah. Definitely one of those moments.
Yeah.
That's
Would-
exactly what I felt like because it's Fitty and his daughter, and she's getting ready to go on obviously like a nice formal,
like a prom date.
like
Yeah.
homecoming
Yeah.
something, and he's like all hitting on her mom, and it's one of those. But the thing I'll say about this kid versus the kid in Bad Boys was he came in with that attitude, like, "Oh, I'm gonna do things to your daughter."
Yeah.
Right. I
You
kind
know.
of got that vibe from him.
Yeah, he was coming in all like, "Oh,
And
look at you
did
and
you guys,
your mom."
You guys notice he had
Yeah.
the red bandana handkerchief
Yeah,
in
Yeah,
his coat?
shuts
what
it
she
down.
And
posted.
50's
Yeah.
like, yeah, let's go talk. And he shoves it down in his pocket there.
You cut to the garage, and there's a room full of all these big Marines, like look like they're fresh out of jail.
Porn Stash's guns. I mean, like his legit
His shirt
arms.
was off.
As soon as they cut to that scene, I heard Jenny go, "Ah!"
I did.
She slid out of her chair a little bit.
Yeah.
There were leather
She was in a
seats.
The recliner,
yeah.
yeah.
She just slid right down.
Yeah.
She had to readjust.
I felt like a slug. It was just like moisture.
So after that scene, there's in like a Chinese restaurant, like a what's the thing where they cook the food? In front of-
Benihana.
Hibachi.
like a Benihana
Yeah.
hibachi type
Yeah.
thing, and Gerard Butler sees him there, like the whole group of them, and he's there with his little posse of cops or whatnot, and
He sees O'Shea Jackson.
yeah, and he goes up and he makes it a point to like
I see
acknowledge,
you.
like, I see you, and then he stops and talks to him.
And why?
See, that was the thing
Yeah.
I thought was honestly fucked up because at that point,
F-bomb.
sorry,
Beep.
it's justified. I promise. I'm getting ready to get to why it's justified. So remember, we don't know at this point that little Ice Cube, Ice Nugget, whatever, that he is
The mastermind
behind all of it. So
he's working that.
right. So you know whenever he walks up, hey Donnie,
Yeah.
you from the gym?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Wait a minute. And he
But
clearly
everybody
puts a
in his
target.
crew knows that Gerard Butler's the cop because they even had like the guy go back
'Cause
to the
they had
scene, take
surveillance.
pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, like everybody knows that he's the cop that's working the case.
But I think that's why Ice Nugget, when he was like, "Oh, you gotta know your enemies, boys," and they brought up the pictures, and he was just kind of like, "Yeah, I think I already know that," know,
Yeah.
because he kind of brushed it off like, "Hey, I already know." You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Well, in
So-
hindsight, but still, at that point, like, you got Gerard Butler totally feeding him to the wolves. Like, he's like, he makes it a point to show the rest of the crew
That's exactly what he's doing.
that Ice Nugget, he knows him. So now the crew's all like,
But I think
"We
Ice
cop-"
Nugget kind of knew that was going to happen, though. I think he knew that was happening because he's like, "This is risky."
But in the moment that we're seeing it and we don't know what's going on, you're feeling bad for the guy.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh shit, this is gonna get him like killed, or he's gonna get his ass beat, and that's the thing, we don't know what's happening at that point. And that's when it gets to after they get the big target point on his back. That's when they do the Pablo Shriver and
Porn
GB. Okay, Porn Stash. Porn Stash and GB start going into it, and then they kind of cut to. I guess it goes next to the. I don't know.
Strip club.
The scene where they're in the. It was at the scene where they were in the.
The acid.
The acid.
Yeah,
scene.
the acid
Yeah,
scene.
The
yeah.
acid scene. That's what I was trying to remember.
So they get back to that garage, and he's like, he has a gun to his eye, and he's telling him like, "Hey, how do you know him? Blah blah blah.
Don't
Things
lie.
Like that. Yeah, don't
Yeah.
lie.
50
Which is
Cent
exactly
punched
what
him in the
GB does to
stomach.
him, does to Ice Nugget
Yeah,
in the interrogation scene.
yeah. So
Don't you lie.
Yeah, so they're
Yeah.
saying, "Don't you lie." He's like, "Man, I'll tell you this and that," and he's like, "Okay, all right." So he believed him. But the thing I didn't get when he walked away was he says, "Tell him it's Friday."
Because if you think about it, going back, and now we know after finishing the movie that Ice Nugget is the mastermind, then clearly Pablo Shriver, we find out later, is in on the plan.
Yeah.
He's probably, we already talked about, he's literally the only other person on the plan. So clearly they want Gerard Butler to know where they're going to be, which
Gerard Butler doesn't find out where it's going to be. He just finds out when it's going to
gonna
be.
Yeah.
right.
He doesn't find out
But they want him to
when
be there clearly.
or where or
I think
where.
the reason
But
the reason why they said Friday was to set up the whole thing when they got to the bank. Like, we're taking hostages. Bring us a helicopter. We want all this money. So
Yeah,
they're like, this is going to take a while. So they're like, cool.
And it's just a small town bank robbery.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
nothing huge. So
If you want to talk about the but why, we're totally going to, like, just make the movie unbelievable because, here's the thing. I would have avoided the cops. I wouldn't have gotten them involved, period. But clearly, for some fucking reason,
F-bomb.
this guy wanted Gerard Butler, which in the end, knowing what we know now, that,
They don't have any previous history.
exactly, but that's it. Why?
Yeah,
Agreed,
why?
but why? But then there's literally no movie if Gerard Butler is not involved.
But
Yeah, I'm
there was-
with Tim here. Why does anybody want the cop to
know what they're doing to do?
where and when they're going to do something? Like, what role does that? Is it just like a
There's no
ha-ha,
revenge.
look at what
Maybe.
I'm doing.
We're
You're
so
a cop. You
smart.
can't do nothing. Yeah,
but
we're
he's
so
not.
smart.
But Porn Stash is not the brains. He's
Unless-
going off of
the only
Ice Nugget.
the only thing I could think of.
to set them up so he could take the money.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Yeah.
But see, I don't even see how that would set up for him to take the money.
Well,
But my thing is,
we're
I
still
think-
jumping.
no, well, we've moved past this. We don't have to do every little scene.
yeah.
But we're at a point in the
We're at
movie.
the bank heist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're at a point in the movie where they tell Gerard Butler, "Hey, look, this is where he finds out, or this is when he finds out through another action that he does, where it's going to be."
How did they guess? I
think-
can't
I
remember.
think
How
they
did they figure out
follow
where it
him.
was going to be?
Because he
we
slept with the
his
dude's
girlfriend.
That's right.
girlfriend,
Okay. All right.
I think the reason he wanted him to know is so he could get all the cops and authorities focused on one area so they could make their slick little getaway and then go do the real heist while everybody's still there doing
trying to get
The
the
little bank.
hostages.
Right.
Yeah,
Trying to get
the
like,
hostages and
helicopter,
stuff. Yeah.
trying to get all the money.
Okay,
Right.
While they
going-
burrowed out.
Going
to
with
get
this
the,
theory,
to
Right.
get the money.
they know that
That's the only
GB
reason I could think of was
is-
why they would want him there.
GB is a loose cannon. He's the kind of guy that'll approach you in a restaurant and make a scene.
Right.
You know, like he's
55,
not
right? 55.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. I think I just figured. Okay, so think about this though. If you think about the fact that the way that the bank heist goes down is they go to a small bank
Right.
and they create a hostage situation. They did that to distract the police.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
So if they did that to distract the police from the real heist, like we said,
So they can make their slick getaway.
But they
That's
also
exa-
needed that bank to get the money. They needed
And
that money that was in that
they
bank
knew-
to put
Right.
on the armored truck.
they
though,
knew
too.
that it was
Right.
going to take them time to get into that bank. They knew they needed an abundance of time. So they bought themselves 90 minutes of having the police tied up where they're going to be nowhere near the Federal Reserve.
right.
And they were probably planning or going with the fact that GB is such a mad dog. He's not a professional like they are. Like they're precise and efficient and calculated, and GB is just a
Loose cannon cop.
cannon cop.
Right.
So they're like, he'll never suspect that
This-
we actually have a bigger plan in picture.
Right. But
Right.
the really cool thing was how they executed. Because honestly, the way the bank heist goes down, they do
There's
the
a
hostage
couple
situation.
big flaws,
There's
but go ahead.
Well,
Yeah.
there is a couple big
Yeah.
flaws, but at the same time, it made it interesting because the way they did it was they create the hostage situation, obviously. Then they have the
use the-
explosion
Right.
to make them think that they're blowing open the vault to just rob this bank. And then you find out, this is what makes it interesting, is how they get to the Federal Reserve from this bank in this hostage situation, is they created a tunnel by doing that blast because you can't get through the sewer systems because remember they basically
They
pointed
said
out
it's
as a
blocked
plot-
off.
They said the sewer system's blocked off, so in order to create the access to the Federal Reserve pathway, basically was they blow a hole into the vault
Not so much a
floor.
pathway to the reserve, but a pathway to
the-
get
Out
out
of the bank.
out
To
of the
get out
bank.
of the
Yeah.
bank.
Right, it's not going to take them directly to the Federal Reserve, but they will, however,
To
be
the
out of
armored
the
car.
bank, which nobody's going to know they're out.
Right.
And I thought that was pretty cool that even though they had the hostage situation, they're Marines. Part of the plot twist was they don't want to hurt civilians.
Right.
So they had the hostage situation. They let them know they mean business by making them think they killed that girl.
Right.
And then they put her in the bathroom. All actuality, she was alive. I thought
Right.
that was pretty nice. But it just goes to show the character, I think, of the
Porn stash
porn stash.
and his crew.
I loved him.
It actually just hit me that. Remember how I said they needed the money from the bank?
Mhm.
They didn't need the money from the bank.
Right.
Remember when there was a scene in the earlier in the movie where they were counting all the money? They're like, "Well, we're gonna give this out." They're like, "No, we're gonna keep it."
Yeah.
That's where the
save-
money.
That's
came
where the
in.
money came from.
That's where
They
the money came
literally
in
didn't
from.
take a dollar from that bank at all.
Yeah,
Right.
they didn't take anything. So there was the
Right.
money that they gave back to the reserve was money to get the bigger prize to get more
Right.
money. So that just hit me.
Mhm.
I don't know if
And
you do.
they
that.
asked for-
As soon as you said, it just hit me, I'm thinking, they didn't even take money from that
Yeah,
bank.
they didn't.
Yeah.
because they would have had to wheel it down that hole.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the point in that? So that money, so that they did. I guess that's why they did that scene of like
In the
we're
beginning.
They
getting this
literally
money,
just
yeah.
wanted the hole and the distraction.
Yeah.
And they
Um,
ordered for a helicopter when they were actually going underground.
Mhm.
Wait a minute, where'd they get the money
I guess the money. So
from
I
a
guess
previous heist?
from
I guess?
previous heists, and they just saved it all up, and then they just loaded it in the back of the because they just basically redid the whole entire armored truck.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, we can use this and give them because they also had to call in that fake order,
the fake drop.
the fake
yeah.
drop for it to be picked up. So
yeah, for
like,
them to gain
for them-
access
yeah.
to the reserve.
Yes.
Right.
So
Had to be on the logs or
that
whatever.
just completely light bulb in my head. So it connected a lot better now that I think about it more than it did when I was in the movie. So
See, one thing that I think threw a big monkey wrench in their 90-minute span plan was Gerard Butler going in there. Because
Yeah.
it didn't give them 90 minutes at that point. It
Right.
gave them
Right. They were
enough time to get away.
Yeah,
and that was
Gerard
it.
Butler.
And then there's a freaking phone call between Porn Stash and GB.
yeah.
Yeah, like why did he call him?
I don't know.
You remember they said that he got.
your concern is so great, man. You're like, I don't know. Why are they that stupid? I don't get it. I was
There's-
wondering the same thing too.
Because if you're going with the idea that GB is just a mad dog and he's like I gotta get in, I'm gonna get you before you come out of there, and he's like, but like why antagonize him?
Right.
got to keep them thinking. I think if
Keep
he
'em on
wouldn't have
their
called
toes.
him, I think he would have still been outside.
Right.
I don't think he would have ran in there like
He
I know
wouldn't
what
have
they're
been-
doing.
He wouldn't have been thinking, what's it? Because he said, I'm not coming out in cuffs.
Yeah.
Right.
It's such a Joker thing to do. Like, why
It is.
piss off Batman?
It's big old foreshadowing. You know Pablo Schreiber is gonna die
Yeah, 'cause
before
he's
the
not
end of the
coming out in
movie.
cuffs.
He's willing to die before he goes back to jail.
Oh, crap. I need a water.
I ain't going back to jail.
I can't go back to jail, man.
So after they make their slick getaway out of the hole in the bank that they blew a hole and went out through the sewers or whatever, it goes. There's literally like no time in between that and them on their way to the
Yes.
Federal Reserve.
Yeah, in the armored truck.
Yeah, in the armored truck.
Already got rid of all their other gear that they had.
Yeah.
And armored truck uniform guy, everything. So there's no them getting rid of their guns, them no changing clothes, no nothing. It's them
No.
in the truck already.
What-
Almost showing up to almost at the reserve already.
Which to me either says that they just skipped all that in the movie
Or there
just
was
to
a
make
scene.
it shorter, or they had it so planned out that they could make their slick getaway. They may have even had all that stuff ready. They could have been changed at the bank and
Yeah.
went down the hole and then found the truck and then went and did their thing.
had a town moment. They had the clothes underneath their clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could have been that type of scenario.
They could have been changing before they blew up the vault.
Yeah.
You know, something. They
That's
had
true,
those
too.
bags to carry the money out. So
I wish they
probably
kind
had
of
their
showed
gear in
that
it.
before they did that. That would have been a nice little.
I don't think they would have
Bridge.
changed before they climbed down, because if their uniforms
true,
would have
too.
got
But
dirty,
they had the bags and
Yeah.
stuff on them, so clearly they brought the stuff.
or it could have just been in the truck.
It was probably already in the truck with the money.
any of the
Yeah.
options are possible.
But-
Doesn't really.
So so you were explaining. So they get they're in the armored truck. Okay, 50 Cent and porn stash guy. Porn stash guy's driving. 50 Cent's in the passenger seat. And,
Riding shotgun,
Riding
so to
shotgun, and then Ice Nugget is actually in one of the money.
Carts.
It's like one of the money
Yeah.
carts. So if he's actually in one of the money carts, that's how they're going to get in.
Right.
And he has all the stuff with him. So
He's got like an EMP machine
Yeah.
to throw off the
camera,
camera
yeah.
in the room, and the room is motion detected, which you find out ends up causing a problem.
Yeah.
Right. So they get into the reserve using their plan of stealing the armored truck, which they did in the beginning of the movie. They get in. Ice Nugget is hidden inside the money cart. They get in. The fat flea-looking guy who's on the crew is underground. And
does
he-
like a fake brownout, pretty much.
yeah, he like kills the power to like the building or the whole block. We don't know exactly, but kills the power. So they have to evacuate everybody out of the rooms that they count the money in inside the reserve and whatnot. While everybody's out, Ice Nugget escapes from the little money cart, and he's got the camera disabled using the EMP. But it didn't knock out like the motion sensor or whatever, so it's kind of crazy hectic. Like they got to call another guy in and be like, "Yeah, you got to come up here and see what's going on. You know, the motion detector went off. Blah blah blah. Why can't we see the camera? You know, it's really crazy." And he throws all the money that they're going to destroy down the trash chute, which is totally not secured in any way. You would think.
Yeah, you think the
Something like-
trash chute would be like it'd go somewhere.
It would
then
go to
they
like a
would-
level where they would check it and see what you're throwing. You would think.
Or it
And
would
so-
have like no openings. Like they said that it's supposed to be how they feed the incinerated money, shredded money into the garbage. So you would think there would be literally
You
no
think
way
they
to
would-
reach in there or something.
You think they would just incinerate it to begin with instead
yeah,
of shredding it?
I'm sure
Yeah.
that's probably what they do in real life. They probably
Probably.
incinerate it.
But Ice Nugget, he makes a close getaway through the air vent.
Which, I'm sorry, no air vent is meant to hold
No, that
200 pounds.
that is a big movie myth. A
Yeah.
lot of people you see
Die
people
hard.
climbing through air vents.
They're big enough, but they can't. Some of them are big enough, but they can't.
They can't hold the
weight.
weight.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not made to hold weight at all.
It's like that scene in Boondock Saints where he's like, we're going through the air ducts like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then
It's
they
like you and your
fall.
Yeah.
stupid rope.
Anyhow,
Yeah. So he makes the slick getaway, and then as he's going to, while all this is going on, Gerard Butler and his little posse of crooked cops are all like trying to pinpoint, like, where they at, where they going, and I don't even know how they figured out where they were going? Did it ever say how he figured out?
That was the National Reserve.
Yeah. Or did they just get lucky and see dude walking down the street?
Maybe his cell phone? Is that how? I can't remember.
I don't know.
I know that they got to a point where they saw homeboy walking down the street. Little ice nugget.
I can't remember honestly, but
They catch him in the suit store. Does he say it's the National Reserve there? I think he does.
No, he
No,
just
No.
says
Friday.
he just says Friday, and he's like, and the guy was like,
yeah.
"What's the details?" Like, all I know is Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he goes and bangs the dude's girlfriend, and she tells him the little bank.
The
to
little
go to.
bank.
Yeah. So either way, everybody's making their escape, and Ice Nugget's walking down the street, and Gerard Butler just happens to drive by and be like, "There he is! Let's pick him up! Find out what's going on here." So like they pick him up and they
start whooping his
Yeah,
ass.
they whoop his ass bad.
And the only survivor from the gang is the guy on the phone. He calls porn stash.
But he was in on it with
With Ice
Ice
Yeah, he
Nugget.
was in on it. We find out at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's at the end. He's hanging out with him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's at the secret spot later in the movie.
But he didn't know up until probably after the heist. Like Ice Nugget probably comes after, comes back. Because the
I
guy
don't know.
totally thinks because after he gets off the phone with porn stash, he's like, like banging on the
True.
steering wheel.
That is true too. Because I was thinking like, oh, no, they set that up. Then he was all like, yeah.
Why would he go back to him? Why would he split all that money with him?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he is like the guy. He is like the operator. Like he was.
He's a handy guy to have around.
Yeah, he would be a handy guy.
Yeah. So Gerard Butler finds Ice Nugget on the road. They whoop his ass, throw him in the back, cuff him up.
Meanwhile, the dump truck,
Garbage truck.
the garbage truck, leaves the Federal Reserve with the money in it. But here's the plot twist: is as it's leaving the Federal Reserve, you see another garbage truck drive by, and you just see the two drivers just kind of like, yeah,
What's up?
Yeah.
like So
Which I caught that right off the bat, and Jenny, I think you did too.
I did not.
You didn't catch that?
I thought
head
there was
nod,
two. I
or-
thought I saw the head nod, but I just thought there was two just to throw.
I was like garbage guys.
just
Like,
to
man,
throw.
what's up, garbage guy?
Yeah, exactly.
Bros.
Yeah.
Here's a question. Do you think both of the garbage men were in on it? We know the one guy was.
Yes, they both were in on
they
it.
You think they were
showed
both
later,
in on it?
Remember whenever they revealed that Ice Nugget was the mastermind, they showed pictures of him on a soccer
that guy,
team
yeah.
Yeah.
with like the other guys, like the older.
Was the older
dump
guy
truck-
on there too?
Yep, the older
Okay.
garbage truck driver was there. The Latino truck driver was there.
Max
the
Holloway.
He's
big
Hawaiian.
old,
Yeah.
the big old Polynesian guy. Yeah.
Right.
Which I mean, I'm sorry, that was the stupidest.
Yeah, I guess
laughed.
you're right. I guess he was in on it from the get-go.
Because you think about it, you saw him whenever Russell Crowe, whenever GB wanted to go interrogate little Ice Nugget at the beginning, the Samoan guy was sitting at the bar talking to Ice Nugget. And
Right.
I think thinking about it, I'm pretty sure that the Latino truck driver was also in on that. I think
he was. He
one
was
of
there
the
too.
ones sitting.
So
Yeah,
what's
he
he
was,
pissed
yeah.
about?
That's
When he
what I was
calls
wondering
porn
too. Why was
stash.
he so mad?
Because-
they're in on it. He knows. Like
Maybe
they knew he was going to get picked up.
Here's
Had to.
here's my theory on that is I think in his mind he knows at this point that Porn Stash and his crew are gonna die because he was like
He hangs up on him.
Well, I mean, he hangs up on him, but if you think about it, and
Or maybe it was
he
just a movie
probably-
mistake.
he had to
Maybe.
be in
Yeah.
on the plot, just like obviously he was in on the plot from the get, just like Porn Stash, probably even prior to Porn Stash. 'cause
I would
he's
say
little-
prior, too.
He's little Ice Nugget's friend. So
Right.
for all we know, he was part of the planning process of that. So they probably knew that push comes to shove that they were going to sacrifice Pablo Porn Stash and his crew.
Right.
Like they knew that was either they were counting on it or they knew it was a probability. But from judging from that guy's reaction, I'm going to say they weren't counting on it because maybe he had that reaction like, I'm just going to go. He was like, shit! Like, shit, my friend's going to die,
Like Nugget got pinched. Nugget's been burned.
Mm-hmm.
And then Porn Stash just hangs up on him.
Yeah.
I think he was mad because he's like, man, He got pinched.
My
He
mind
got
was
burned.
like,
I ain't getting no money.
I ain't getting no
I
money.
was to say that's
Yeah.
the way they kind of presented it, because if it at this point in the plot we don't know that Ice Nugget is the mastermind, that's the way they're presenting it. But then looking back in hindsight, my theory on it is he reacted that way because he knew that they were going to die.
It's got to be. That's the only other explanation.
That's the only explanation
But
that I can come up with.
Wouldn't that be part of the
sense.
plan, though? Is those
Yeah.
dudes die, they
Yeah.
take the fall for the whole thing while
If-
Ice Nugget makes his getaway?
Or they I mean,
Because he planned on getting arrested because he had the
he planned
lockpick.
on getting arrested and everything, but like I said, it could have either been. I mean, you would think almost because the way that it was executed that it was all planned, but I don't think. I think there were little keys and insights to let you know. I don't think they intended on at least Porn Stash dying.
Right.
Like, I think that they.
Yeah,
I
I see that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think that they wanted all of them to get out successfully if they could. You know, it's no different than
But
like.
then why go behind their backs?
Yeah, because he definitely had planned to steal the
Because
money.
you always have to have,
backup.
I mean,
A
a
backup.
backup.
Yeah.
If you think about it and approach it that way, like I said, you hope for the best, but you have to have a backup plan. And they clearly thought about a lot of what could possibly happen. It was
Going
very
with
well
that
thought
though,
out.
if Porn Stash's crew made it out,
Uh-huh.
how does Nugget present, or can we call him Ice Chip?
Yeah, you
We'll
can
go
call
with
it Ice
Nugget.
Chip. Yeah.
How does he say, like, look, I actually put the money on a different truck?
But
See, I
Without
thought the same
getting-
thing too. So, like, if they got away and
I
they
don't-
show up with all the, they're like,
I-
what the heck is this?
Again-
I planned ahead.
Yeah.
again, you know, they're all trying to get away, but clearly Porn Stash's crew was meant to be the ones that either they were meant to be the distraction either way.
Right. They're definitely the
They're a
distraction.
distraction either way. The why they're a distraction is unclear. I would like to think that
There
they
should have been a history between Russell Crowe and Porn Stash.
There's literally no history between
There should have
any
been.
of
Anybody.
them
Yeah.
except for Porn Stash and his crew, and then GB and his crew. They
yeah.
have history, but then the three separate crews obviously all have history, but no combined history.
If
Right.
there was like one thread between GB and Porn Stash's girlfriend, that's all they needed to have.
Yeah.
That if there was just something like maybe GB was like raping and beating her or something.
Before we get into
Okay,
all that,
yeah, go ahead.
let's
Go
finish out the movie here, and then we'll get into things we liked, things we didn't like, stuff like that.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so we pretty much talked about,
The ending.
You guys know how it ends. Ice Nugget went behind everybody's back with his little side crew.
It was very M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
What a twist!
Or
With a
the usual suspects.
the usual suspects.
Because I mean,
twist,
like
yeah.
Russell Crowe even has that like that son of a bitch.
Bitch,
Yeah.
yeah. He looks
Yeah.
at the pictures on the wall,
Yeah.
and essentially he's like, "Oh my God,
Well,
we got
I've been had.
Well, we kind of
Yeah.
left off of the part where Ice Nugget got picked up. We never really broke it down, like how it actually went down.
We said that
Well,
he was walking down
I
the
mean,
street.
yeah,
got his
they
ass.
said he got picked up. He got walked down the street, but they whooped his ass, and they put him in his truck, and then they handcuffed him
Yeah.
because the car, the getaway car that the guys had that they thought had the money in it was up in traffic. They
Right.
got caught in traffic.
So they
So-
cuffed him, and honestly, this is another good plot twist we should talk about. And it kind of goes about why on earth did they get out of the cars? Because that's how it happens. They get into a traffic jam, and these are police officers.
Right.
These are police officers, regardless if they're dirty or not. And there's a traffic jam with cars filled with people.
Innocent.
The people
Yeah. Right.
start
Yeah.
freaking out and getting out of their cars because they can see homeboys coming up wearing the SWAT vest, holding like high artillery rifles. They know shit's about to go down.
Oh yeah.
And that was the thing is they just start firing, and then
they would never have done that if it was like a real life situation.
right,
Porn
and-
Stash sets up a high-powered rifle on the roof of his car, or on the hood of his
Yeah,
car.
yeah,
Thank
he
you.
puts the saw right
And
on
shoots
the-
through
And-
like 15 cars.
Yeah, it shoots through cars.
And then they keep
the people
going
that
through
protect
traffic.
the innocent,
Yeah.
Right.
straight shooting through their cars.
They start going through the traffic though, so they start covering more ground. I'm like, what happened to the people who were, they couldn't see what was going on behind them, and they're creeping up further and further, and it's like, how many people did they potentially kill?
Yeah.
Or
I was
injured.
thinking the same thing.
Both sides had bad people.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I just want to say this: both sides, very bad people.
So like, one of the cops
I just think they
dies
were
right
so
there.
focused on trying. They were going to try
Get
to
each
get
other.
one of somebody was going to get each other. That's what they wanted. It's like that. And that's what happened at the end. It was either going to be Gerard Butler or it was going to be Pornstache. Somebody's going to get somebody. That's how they want it. I'm going to get him or he's going to get me. I don't care. There's innocent people here.
I will say that Pornstache and Fitty went out pretty hard. And Fat Flea got killed.
got it bad. He
Well,
was
He
like,
got shot in the neck. He was like instant. And then Fitty got his essential, I'm a rapper and I'm in a movie death scene.
I'm gonna die in the street.
And the arms of
I
a
was so sad.
of the arms of the police, and he's like,
Another
"You're in
black
his arms now."
Yeah.
And he's like,
Yeah, the only black cop has the only black gang member, and they're having that moment where it's like, Jesus is coming, man. You know,
"Yeah."
it is what it is.
So there's the big shootout between the bad guys and the cops or whatever. Everybody ends up dying. That was in the shootout essentially, except for a lot of Fat Russell Crowe's.
Only one cop
died,
Yeah.
and then
Oh,
the
yeah.
other 4 cops get out.
The blonde,
They're
the
either
blonde guy, right?
2 of them get wounded. Like the 2 blonde guys, either one gets shot in the leg, one got shot in the shoulder. Gerard Butler.
That dude who
gets
got shot in the leg
hand.
was brutal as shit.
Oh, dude, that was
Yeah.
like right in the knee, too.
Yeah, like you
Blood
see his
knee.
leg like go.
The
Yeah.
only cop that managed not to get shot was the black cop.
I'll give the movie this too. The death scenes,
Were good.
when people got shot
They
to
were
death,
good.
there was like moments where they like froze up
Yeah.
and were like kind of seasoned and they fall down.
Yeah.
I was like, that looks really shit.
Even the guns, everything, ricochets, gunshots, everything.
It did seem
like,
very authentic.
All the
Yeah.
guns didn't have the same. They all didn't sound the same. Like Gerard Butler was shooting a heavier bullet with a gun with a heavier bullet, so it
Right.
was louder. It had more deeper of a thud when it
The
shot.
authenticity of the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, most of
is-
the times,
is
like
covered.
a movie death is like you just go pure ragdoll.
Yeah.
Right.
You just fall flat, and that's it. These guys were like froze up, and then like they went down, their leg was like still up in the air and kind of twitching and stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
That
when
was
the
pretty cool.
first cop gets shot and like his leg was even bent in like an almost impossible position.
Yeah.
Like you're like, man, that guy's got to be like in so much pain right now, like, trying to act like he's dead on
Yeah.
top of it.
Yeah.
So the action scenes were good. The action scenes were great.
Yeah.
The guns, the shootout scenes were awesome. That's what I love about heist movies, man. Shootout scenes, my favorite. I was like, man, they need more shootout scenes. You're all like, I think they had enough. I'm like, they didn't have enough. They needed more.
Do we feel like we covered the whole movie now, so we can start talking about
Well,
like, the other
okay,
heist
so-
movies since
Right.
he's talking about that?
The only thing that's left is,
The twist, really.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
break it
comes
down.
back to the car.
Which-
Nugget's gone.
Yeah. Go ahead. Keep going.
He's oh shit, goes to his trunk. The trunk's full of what? What is that?
Shredded money.
money.
It's
Shredded
money.
shredded money. Yeah.
And then he realizes something else is up here. He goes back to Twiggy's,
Ziggy's.
Ziggy's, and
The bar where Ice Nugget worked.
and sees the picture that we all talked about, the soccer team.
Yeah.
And then, very end of the movie, you see Nugget. He's in London with a cool new London accent,
Right.
and he's working as a bartender. And he meets a guy who has a diamond.
Same people that were on the crew.
Yeah.
are
In the
also
soccer
in
photo.
the bar.
Yeah.
Right.
They're all sitting at the bar where he's bartending.
Just like at
And-
the beginning of the movie when he was working at the original Ziggy's.
Yeah.
And they were all hanging out.
Right.
And he meets a diamond dealer, or a
Right.
guy who works at a diamond dealer
The
just
UFC
Michael
across the
Bisping.
street.
Michael
Now,
Bisping.
as far as like the whole reveal of the twist and like how he got away,
A little too cliche.
very cliche.
Yeah.
Not enough explained.
Right.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just.
All you get is his original meeting with Pornstache,
Yeah.
him giving him the plans,
Right.
and Pornstache coming up with the idea that it's all his idea,
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
which seems a little
It's like
suspicious.
if we're gonna do this,
It's
we're gonna
gotta
do
be
it my
mine.
way.
That's why everybody always asks, like, man, where do you get your information from? Don't worry about it.
Which
Right.
is also
It's
kind
credible.
of what makes it hard to tell if they intended for Pornstache to die from the very beginning.
I would say so. I think he set him up.
He sets himself up
Well, yeah.
because he says it's my all. You can't have the idea. It's all me.
yeah.
Doesn't.
But I think Ice Nugget went into it thinking, I'm going to talk this guy because he's a hothead. I'm going to talk him into doing this. I don't care if he calls it his plan or not. because I'm the one who's really doing the mastermind behind
It's
the
in
twist move.
his. It's in his benefit.
He just needed him to assist him, really.
I think they should have gone with Nugget saying, "Nobody will trust me or believe me. I'm not, street smart like you. I'll give you the plans. You tell your crew it's all your idea. That way you're in control."
He used him.
Right, but I'm saying, like, it doesn't do that. Porn stash.
Kind of unclear, to be honest. I feel like you can't really tell, and I think they almost want you to feel like that cliffhanger of you're never going to be sure. It's potential.
I thought it was pretty clear to me that Ice Nugget set him up from the get-go, knowing the guy's a hothead, that he'll want to take charge of the crew.
Maybe.
And knowing, like, because do you think that Porn Stash knew that there was shredded money in the bags? No.
Right.
That was all Ice Nugget. Ice
Right.
Nugget planned it from the get-go to screw Porn Stash out of all this money.
Right.
Even if
honestly,
Gerard Butler wasn't even in it.
looking
Yeah,
back
still
at
didn't
it,
happen.
the fact that the two garbage truck drivers were
And-
Ice Nugget's crew,
Right.
he's probably right.
Yeah.
It was from the get-go. He needed somebody to go in,
Take the fall.
and
Get
that was it.
arrested, probably. He doesn't plan
not
on him.
necessarily die, but take the fall.
Yeah.
Right.
He
Either way, he
disappears
was
with
gonna
the
be
money.
The fall guy.
Yeah, he disappears with the money. He's gone. He doesn't have to worry about it. He's in another friggin' country. Don't even have to worry about Porn Stash because he's either going to be dead or in jail. Like, there's no way he's going to get away with this.
I
Right.
did think that it was pretty cool at the end of the movie. They already had him set up for the next heist, but next time he's going bigger. I'm going for diamonds, man.
Yeah, but a Diamond Heist.
They're never going to make a sequel
I
to
was
this
gonna say
movie.
part 2.
No. You never know, man. They made a sequel to lots of crappy
I don't
movies.
know if they could though, because I feel like even with the heist going on, I still feel like GB was the main character. I mean, they gave him the most plot out of anybody. I mean,
Right.
they had that unnecessary story, honestly, about the
But you could-
drama between him and his wife.
Yeah.
But you could do it with a constable.
You could. But
And I would call it Den of Hooligans.
So now that we've talked about the basic plot synopsis of this movie, we really need to talk about the things we liked and, most importantly, the things we did not like in this movie. This movie was 2 hours and 20 minutes long.
Very long movie.
Was
too long.
it?
Yeah, 2
We
hours.
didn't even cover GB's divorce.
I brought it up
yeah.
just
Close.
now, just a
Oh.
little
Right.
bit. Yeah, like I was talking
There-
about. They gave him the most backstory. He had the most
Right.
plot going on in the
Not
movie.
even
out of
backstory,
anybody
just
that was
current,
personal.
up-to-date story
Yeah.
with the guy,
I
really.
did love the scene where he goes to confront his wife after she gives him the divorce papers.
Right.
That was hilarious, but it just kind of goes, like I had said previously, the thing about Gerard Butler, that this is what sells tickets, is you want Gerard Butler to be Gerard Butler in a movie.
Right.
And he did do that, and that's, Gerard Butler came in with like that. I mean, he literally is, he's a ladies' man, he's very charismatic, he's kind of an asshole in real life, if you actually, know things about Gerard Butler on the level that I do. That's kind of disturbing.
Jenny knows things.
I know things.
But like I said, the movie was 2 hours and 20 minutes long, which a lot of good heist movies are at least 2
Think
hours
about like
long.
Heat.
Yeah,
Heat to me didn't seem that long.
Because it's so good.
'Cause it's
bro.
so
Maybe
good.
that's
But it
why.
was
Yeah.
long.
like for this movie to be 2 hours and 20 minutes long, I almost checked the time to see if it was almost over.
I know I did. I checked the
I
time
kept
just to see what
thinking-
it was.
We've got to be getting close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what though? I didn't know anything about the movie going in, other than the fact that it had Gerard Butler in it and a few people. Because I'd never even heard of the movie before. You were like, "We're gonna go see this." I was like, "Okay," so I wanted to look it up. I honestly had no preconceived notions about it. You went into it knowing it was a long movie, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So I did not feel bored. I felt like they kept the plot going
Yeah.
to the point where I didn't even realize it was a 2 hour and 20-minute long movie until you said that. You heard it in my voice. Like, I was like, really?
Yeah. But with it being a 2 hour and 20 minute movie, like, I think easily it could have been condensed down to 90 minutes.
I was going to say, they
Because
totally could have cut out the Gerard Butler
They had
stuff.
so many extra scenes in the movie that did not have to be in there.
It had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, the whole story about him and his wife and the divorce and that,
Fiddy's
it never
daughter.
comes back.
Right.
It's like breast cancer in the room. It never comes back. Never.
Yeah.
Breast cancer.
There is no resolution to that. Literally, last
No.
thing you see is him stalking his daughter on a playground.
Which
Yeah.
okay,
That's creepy.
I'm sorry if the teachers, when they even say like, all right, what's her name, Hannah or something. All right,
Can't
come
remember.
back. Like, you don't know that's her dad.
Not only that, you don't know if her
Yeah.
dad's actually allowed to even like
Right.
talk to her.
And he's choosing
He's-
the playground through a fence
He's
to communicate with his daughter.
He's obviously from the story that we see with him and his wife,
not a present.
not present in the whole family. You know, like
So why
that's
He's
just a
showing
given.
up at 6 o'clock
like
in the
he's
morning.
working
Yeah.
a
So
lot.
why would he be able to show up on his way to work? I'm assuming, which is in the morning, and talk to his daughter, whom his teachers probably don't even recognize, and he looks like a drunken
Yeah.
idiot.
But
You know.
the thing that does make it applicable to this is it's the day of the heist. So he literally goes to his daughter's school.
But who has recess at 8
Not
in the
knowing
morning?
if he's going to come
Yeah,
back.
who has 8 in the morning? But I think
Yeah.
that was their way of tying up the loose end if he went to go see goodbye to his daughter. But at the same time, though, the way the movie ends, it really
She
It's
says, "When do I
the
get to see
whole-
you again?" He's like, "Soon."
Yeah.
Right.
The whole story, though, it doesn't come back at the end.
No.
And honestly, I
You know.
don't know why the wife left the house. If I was her, I honestly would have kicked him out. He cheated on her.
Plus, he never went back
Right.
home.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
I
exactly.
never saw him at. I would have just. No, she had to do this whole big dramatic.
He never went back home. He banged a chick at her house, and
Yeah.
then he was always at a
Oh, that
the
was
strip
funny
club
though.
or at a bar or something.
How he got caught was he messed up and he texted his wife that she was a bad bitch.
Yeah.
And
Something
she
like
was-
that, yeah.
She was
So
a bad
hot.
bee, and that was so hot.
Yeah, and they
I
were
want your
like,
body.
they basically revealed that he messed up and texted his wife in lieu of his,
Yeah.
let's say,
Mistress.
flavor of the day.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
But either way, it plays no role
Nothing.
nothing.
in any of the story. Like, it does not come back at the end. Like, you don't see him getting back with his wife or saying, hey, look, I messed up, take me back, and they get back together. Nothing like that.
But
The whole story of that, yes, the scene where he went and signed the papers while she was on a date,
that was hilarious.
that was funny. It was entertaining, but it served no
purpose.
purpose in the movie whatsoever.
And that scene was long, too.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really
Like a-
long.
All the scenes
10-15
of
minute
involving
scene.
his
It's
that
like
that storyline, that story arc.
it's like the
was
room where
long.
you're like, "Wait, who's this guy?
Yeah.
Who's that guy?
Yeah.
Who are these people?"
But
Yeah.
okay, you start thinking about. You can argue that every plot movie, every heist movie I've ever seen has something like that going on, though.
Val
I think
Kilmer.
about Die Hard. Die Hard technically is a heist movie, even though it was a hostage situation.
Christmas movie, too.
Christmas movie
Yeah.
too. So Die Hard was the plot between Holly and John necessary, almost you would think, but then in Heat, same thing. Al Pacino had,
That girlfriend or whatever.
and his
Yeah.
daughter was like suicidal and stuff like
Val
that.
Kilmer was in a bad relationship
with
his.
Ashley Judd,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, it's just a story. I think,
But
honestly.
what I think
Yeah.
that if you were to boil this down, like the whole movie down to like a, what do you call it? Like what this movie is, it's bad cop. There's sometimes cops can be bad people to and do bad things to catch supposed bad guys, and not all bad guys do like terrible bad things to get what they want, right? And Porn Stash's name being Merriman plays into Robin Hood and his
Merriman.
yeah. So I think that's all this stuff about GB and his divorce and the way he goes about fulfilling the law or bringing order to the law is all very off book and distasteful and stuff. But like you said, a lot of it doesn't need to happen.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it doesn't.
I
Right.
will say for the ladies is that it does have a lot of eye candy.
Oh yeah.
Gerard Butler and Pablo Schreiber, and honestly, Fitty ain't bad looking either. You
No?
know, Fitty nice.
And he's a good dad too.
And I actually really enjoy his show Power. Do you guys watch Power?
No.
No, but I've heard it was really good.
It is actually really good. So Fitty does have some star power too, and I think that honestly, like acting was really good. I do think that the guys did a good job.
Who do you guys think had the breakout role? Who do you think stole the
GB.
show?
Ice Nugget.
I think Ice Nugget.
Ice
did,
Nugget,
for
yeah.
sure.
I thought Gerard Butler was the one to watch in this movie.
Really?
Well, he's the one to watch, but we're talking about breakouts.
Yeah,
Well,
I
but
think
I mean,
he already
like,
has an established.
You see either Gerard Butler playing a not so much a romantic comedy. He has Two for the Money
Well,
or
think
whatever.
about like law-abiding citizen or something like that.
London Has Fallen and Washington Has Fallen. But those are like just action movies. He's not really doing anything other than being quiet and killing bad guys. So this movie had him doing a lot more. I mean, like the restaurant scene.
I think, honestly, if you really want to know about Gerard Butler's performance in this, Gerard Butler is basically a culmination of all of his roles, really. Because he played that, like...
He played a detective
chauvinistic-
in like the Jennifer Aniston movie.
Right.
Like, he was a
played
dick.
that chauvinistic male that he's typical, like, awful truth. Any of the romantic comedies he's in, he's always a ladies' man.
Yeah.
He can get
Rough
pretty much
around the
anybody
edges.
he wants. But then it almost kind of brings in he was intelligent, like he was in Law-Abiding Citizen and things like that. He was a leader, and he was very strategic, like he was in 300. So I literally
I
think...
don't know, like the scene with him and the FBI guy in the beginning.
unnecessary again, because that the whole thing was where they were just trying to poke fun at, like, you're a vegan.
But I mean, it's not typical of what, from what I've seen of Russell GB,
Fat Russell Crowe.
which I mean honestly is more typical for a Russell Crowe than it is a GB.
Right.
So maybe that's why we're getting so confused. Is that you'd more likely see Russell Crowe playing this character than you
Agreed.
would
He
a
is
Gerard
more
Butler
of a Russell Crowe character.
in this movie.
But I still, I mean,
So
maybe,
it's a little out of, and I laughed the most at his scenes than anybody else.
Oh yeah, his stuff was great.
Yeah.
Like we talked about the scene with the divorce papers. Just or any time really that he was going after a guy in particular, like anytime he went after Ice Nugget, you know, you really felt like this could potentially be the way Gerard Butler would act in real life.
It makes me want to see like Training Day starring Gerard Butler, you know?
Or Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Ice Nugget had the breakout.
I think by definition, breakout usually means that you.
Well, maybe
Weren't
I shouldn't
expected.
say breakout. Who had the more standout role? Who do you think did the best in the movie overall?
I think
I'd still go Ice Nugget.
I'd still
I
go
would
Ice
too,
Nugget. I
yeah.
feel like Pablo Schreiber did a good job.
honestly, I did not know that was Porn Stash until we started talking about it. He's also in this short-lived HBO show called The Brink.
Yeah.
Where he was a Air Force pilot and he's on
He-
drugs and stuff the whole time, which
he
is, yeah, which
Plays
was
a
good.
Marine a lot.
Yeah.
Like I said, the very first thing I remember seeing him in was Weeds, where he was playing
A
he
drug
had-
dealing Marine.
Yeah, he was playing a
essentially.
drug dealer. He was getting all this
He
weed
deals
from
drugs.
Iraq and Afghanistan and stuff, and he was selling it to Nancy. The fun thing that I mentioned to you guys earlier, most people don't even realize about Pablo Schreiber, is he's related to Ray Donovan star Liev Schreiber. I think that's a fun fact, definitely to include in there for anybody who
Yeah.
doesn't know that. It's just
How are they related?
they're half
Half
brothers.
brothers.
Half
yeah,
brothers,
I was gonna
okay.
say that.
But you're right. They don't necessarily look alike.
Yeah.
But I love Liev Schreiber, so I'll
Yeah.
I'll point that out. I mean, Sabretooth.
Yeah. But Ray Donovan.
Ray Donovan's the
Yeah.
one everybody knows him as, right?
So,
Things we didn't like.
yeah, things we didn't like. I'm going unnecessary story arc, honestly.
I mean, anytime you have a heist. See, okay, so Ocean's 11.
Right.
That heist.
What I loved about that heist is it had a clear, concise breakdown of the twist, how they did it, all that. This movie did not have that. It was literally a
And
60-second clip of him.
Napkins, like writing on napkins. pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was pretty much about it, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like a full recap of they literally went back and showed you everybody got away safely and things like that.
Reliant on a lot of just.
Flashback stories.
No, the plot or the heist itself relied on a lot of good luck. The air duct,
Yeah.
the fact that like when he pulled it shut, it just stayed shut.
Yeah.
No, if he was pulling that shut and let go, this thing would have fell the fuck off the wall.
Well, he knew he was going to go through the air duct. He had the.
I know, but like
it.
he pulled
Right.
it shut and then kept, down.
Maybe it just didn't show. Maybe he had like a string and a hook, and he hooked it and kept it shut. Who
Not to
knows?
mention, it was quiet as hell in the room at first. If he would have moved prior to that machine turning back on, they would have heard him like fumbling around in the air duct.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then like when he walks out of the place, he's
He
not
never
on the
signed
book,
in, yeah.
and he's just staring at the guy, and he's just like, "All right, go on, get out of here." And I'm like, "No, this is the place
Yeah.
that if you
This
stare
is the
at the
Federal
building,
Reserve.
if you
yeah.
stare at the building for 2 minutes, a SWAT team or so like security,
somebody will come.
It's supposed
ask
to
you
be
what the hell it was.
non-caseable.
and if you come
Yeah.
back, they're going to your Secret Service on your ass."
Right.
And they just let him walk.
Well, like I said, he
Right.
walked in there and they didn't even say anything about it. Oh, you just get your face. They'll show every freaking record
Yeah.
that you have. Like, come on now,
Yeah.
really?
But
They didn't
it's
say
he was
anything about it
supposed
to
be
him?
a delivery guy, and I guarantee you, 90% of delivery guys have a record.
Okay, but
Right.
all right. So usually,
But
so,
even then, if you have a record, you're not even supposed to be allowed past the lobby.
yes. So even
You
in
know.
a government building, you don't go past. And if you don't work there, they don't let you in. They'll take the food.
Yeah,
they'll-
exactly.
They'll escort
They'll
it.
call down
They
whoever
won't just go, all right,
orders.
go
say,
through there.
honestly,
They don't let
I
the
think that
order
was,
guy walk all the way to the
I'd
cabinet.
say
Exactly.
That was the unbelievable part right there. That right there. Nobody, I can't tell you how many places where I had a security guard at a desk that I worked at. You did not go past that security desk.
Yeah, I was
Right.
at like a hospital. You could order food to the hospital, but you have to go down and meet them at the welcome
I was
desk to
saying-
get your food and bring it to your room.
I mean, they can
right.
go back if, say, the person who they're delivering to escorts them through the building
Yeah,
and takes
yes.
responsibility for them. But that was very
But why?
unbelievable.
Yeah. Why would anybody walk like say, "Hey, yeah, you got my food. Let me walk down there. You can walk back up to my office. I'll pay you, and then you can leave." No, nobody does that.
So this was kind of the funny plot twist about that, honestly, was when the way that he got in there, not once but twice, was he did a faux delivery to these women of the Chinese food. And while he was in there, he stashed a second bag
Yeah.
of Chinese food.
Knowing later on they were going to order food again.
That
Right.
was probably a very satisfying part, honestly, was watching those women eat the two, however many day old Chinese food. And then
I'd like to know how he knew that they were going to order Chinese food.
I don't know.
or what they were going to order.
Well,
Right.
that and the fact that no, because I'm guessing that lady was probably in on it.
yeah, you said
Because
Oh,
that
yeah,
lady,
yeah.
that one lady was in on it.
Yeah, you see her again at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah.
But they should have really tied that
Only,
together.
oh yeah,
But-
only one lady was in on it.
The
The lady
Chi-
that called down like, "Hey y'all, this food ain't right." The other lady was trying to get her stopped, like, "Hey, no, it's fine, it's fine."
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
like, "I'm getting my money back."
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess
Again,
that kind of tied in there.
that was
Right.
another loose end though that never got tied up. They were like, "Stop him!"
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, he's getting picked up by
Yes.
Gerard Butler.
Yeah,
Right.
Russell Crowe.
No security guard went
Ran out.
chasing after him. It was again an unnecessary plot.
Yeah.
So
True. Dusty, what'd you hate about this movie?
Oh, what did I hate about the movie? Kind of like, I would say probably a lot of the random characters that were in the movie. Like, oh, that's part of their crew. They never really. I think they should have somewhat specified a little deeper, more, and then at the beginning instead of at the end of the movie. Like, oh, okay, I get it.
There was so much they could have
Right.
chopped out
Yes.
and made way for a much more intriguing story.
A much tighter story.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
honestly, you really got to pay attention because you're not going to be able. We're piecing all this together, going back and talking about this
Exactly.
as a collective.
It's just now.
Yeah.
It's starting to click with me, and I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, I get it now.
okay, yeah.
Like
So-
you really do have to pay attention. It's a thinking man's movie.
right.
You know, you definitely have to pay attention because there was a couple times where I was like, oh,
I feel like
what's
I'm a
going on
little
here?
lost.
Yeah, like I started thinking in my head about different stuff, and then like, oh, what did he just say? You know, why is he doing that? And like I leaned over to Tim a couple times, and I was like, what did he just say? Like the whole sewer scene, like, oh, it's blocked off, and then there was that dun 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 moment with Fat Russell Crowe that was like, where he just had like he was like, they're going out through the sewer. Like, how the hell did he know that?
Yeah.
You know?
The
Well,
only
no,
way
no,
they
there
do
was
that
a previous
because
heist.
of there was a previous heist
That went
they
through the
blew
sewer.
the sewer.
Oh.
And that 50 Cent's role in the military was
He was
Explosives.
the arson.
explosives. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're
Well, see, I must have missed that too. I had no idea.
it's cool, man.
I would have included at least even one offhanded dialogue where Pornstache hates Fat Russell Crowe.
Yeah, because that's the funny thing is, okay, they do the whole know your enemy thing,
Yeah.
and then you see them in the scene where Gerard Butler has sex with Pornstache's girlfriend, and they just stand there and like stare at each other. And they had other moments like that aside from the restaurant, like the gun
gunshot.
range.
Yeah, the gun
shooting
range.
range.
The gun
shooting
range
is a good one.
was kind of cool because they had
Kind of like a shootout a
Yeah.
little bit, like with. I
And
guess the
they
target.
kept zooming in on the never operate or handle a weapon behind another
Yeah,
person.
Yeah.
Every close-up shot had that on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Never.
That's at every range, though.
I know, but they kept zooming in
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
It was a main focal point.
Yeah.
Of the shot because I kept looking at it.
Yeah.
I
too.
kept looking at it too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought that it was pretty. I mean, it just goes to show you how accurate he was. That they, whenever, so inevitably, for those of you who obviously haven't seen the movie, Pornstache just starts after they get into this shootout where they're basically in a competition to see, fire, who's better. So Pornstache just kind of shuts it down and like just starts firing his gun and empties every clip that he has, like as quickly as
It was
he
like
can.
he went through like 4 clips
Yeah.
in like 20 seconds.
Right.
Which you're not allowed to do that at shooting range.
But then he just
They yell at you for
practically mic drops and just leaves. And then you go to Gerard Butler bringing the target up and seeing that he hit almost the exact same spot, like it's the same area. And he wasn't even thinking about it. He was literally just firing his gun
Yeah.
as quickly as he could, and he was that accurate.
Which I kind of thought at the end when they had their shoot off or shootout or whatever, it was just those two. Like, if this dude's so good, how come he's not hitting Gerard Butler?
And Gerard Butler has a wounded hand.
Yeah,
And-
and still shoots him.
And shoots him through a bulletproof vest.
Yeah,
It shot the side of his where the
first
plate
time.
wasn't at.
But then if you remember how he ends up killing Pornstache is he just unloads in his chest.
Yeah.
right.
It's
Well,
like,
after like 4 or 5 or 6
I mean,
right in
he'd
a row,
really just
back
have
to
to
back,
hope that
it'll-
he
yeah.
hits something around here or
Yeah.
whatever. But that's from what I saw in the effects, it literally looked like it was all on the vest.
Mm-hmm.
Like it looked like every gunshot that they created was on his vest. It's like how?
I think the
Oh, yeah.
side shot got him more than anything.
Yeah.
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 Maybe shut it down his
Yeah.
breathing by hitting him in the chest so many times. I don't know.
It's hard to
That's
say.
the thing
Yeah.
of it is. It's just
Yeah, you don't know.
that's the thing that it was maybe a big.
He was out of
movie
bullets
mistake.
anyway, so he was done for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was shot, bleeding out, and he was out of bullets.
But I mean, like I actually studied this stuff, and we learned suspension of disbelief and all that stuff. And honestly, I look for things like that.
Right.
But that was things that I looked at it, and I'm like, okay, that's unbelievable because he literally hit him in his vest
Yeah.
right.
like multiple times, and that was supposed to be the thing that killed him.
But-
Dusty B brought up a good one with the EMP. Like the glowing EMP.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
It only affected the one camera.
Yeah, so
None of the.
nothing.
His
like, they had the
earpiece,
EMP
Maybe
inside the
it
box.
was a special
They
room.
take it in. The EMP only affected one camera. An EMP will infect every electronic
Everything
within the area.
within an area.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And
he had
their
the little
walkie-talkies.
earpiece in and had standing by the EMP, and they're still talking back and forth on walkie-talkies.
Yeah,
It's like that
60
would have fucked
seconds.
that up. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have fucked. Excuse my language. That would screw everything up in that room.
Right.
It doesn't matter where an EMP will shut anything down. It will shut that stuff down.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry.
As we learned
no,
from
that was
Ocean's
your-
11,
Yeah.
an EMP when it goes off, it'll mess up everything,
Right.
including the batteries in your trigger device or
oh yeah,
walkie-talkie.
because he was like ding 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 ding.
Yeah.
Didn't it go off?
It-
Or-
After
it
they
took out
changed
his
the batteries.
earpiece
Yeah, that's
and
right,
everything.
Yeah, it took out everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the Ocean's movies.
So do
and
I.
the cool thing about the Ocean's movies that they don't. I mean, I love the shootouts as much as I love the shootouts. There's no. It's all sophisticated, perfectly
Well planned, timed.
Nobody's.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember anybody really getting killed or
No.
shot. It's just all just perfectly planned. They just get away. Like,
Right.
like they're never there. That's what's cool about those movies.
Yeah.
What can we say about Den of Thieves that we liked? Jenny, I know for you,
eye
other than
candy.
eye candy, yeah.
Me, of course, is the shootouts. I've already said that.
Yeah, the action sequences,
Yes.
essentially.
I love the shootouts. That's probably my favorite
Right.
thing.
Was there anything other than the eye candy that you thought stood out that was really good about the movie, Jenny?
I do think that Gerard Butler's performance was very good. I just think that honestly, I'm a sucker for Gerard Butler, and I tell you what, it's no different than like Jack Black or like Michael Cera.
Who played the same character in every movie?
Exactly. They're hired to be the same character, like Christopher Walken. Mm-hmm. Christopher Walken's going to be Christopher Walken in a movie. It's not necessarily a bad thing if you're not an annoying actor.
Right.
Like Jack Black being Jack Black and everything gets annoying.
Yeah.
Michael Cera being Michael Cera, Ellen Page being Ellen Page and everything gets annoying.
Rob Schneider.
Right.
Yeah, Rob Schneider's a good
I mean,
one.
some people, it's like beating a dead horse.
Adam Sandler.
Right. Gerard Butler, I feel like he diversifies his roles enough to where even if you feel like he's acting like Gerard Butler, that he's doing a good job. I think Gerard Butler's performance was stellar.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him that much. Again, the unnecessary plot twist with him and his wife and all that stuff. I mean, it's neither here nor there. We can't do anything about that.
But you can't judge his performance. Like, he performed phenomenally through those scenes.
Correct.
Whether or not they were significant for the plot it's neither here nor there. But his acting in it's great.
Right.
Now, I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. I mean, I'm that person though. Honestly, I've seen too many movies. I can always tell you how things are going to end, and I felt like with this movie.
Could you tell that Ice Nugget was going to be the twist before you saw him break out of the cuffs?
No, but at the same time, though, whenever he revealed that it was like, oh, yeah, well, that's typical. That's a typical way to do a plot twist was, oh, it's the guy you all thought was, the little Weasley, whatever. It's no different than, like, okay, Scary Movie.
Right.
Scary Movie, in the end, the killer was Doofy.
Yeah.
And the same thing, like, I don't know. I've always been really good at telling plot twists. Like, whenever I saw Seven for the first time, just hearing Kevin Spacey's voice before they even showed him, I knew it was Kevin Spacey.
Right.
So I will give it credit that it does have some plot twists that I didn't see coming. However, we already kind of dissected that maybe some of the plot twists still didn't make sense.
I just don't think the plot twist was explained
well enough.
Well enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I hate to go back to like the Ocean's movies. When they show you how it was done, they show you how it was done.
Right.
This was literally, you see Fat Russell Crowe put the dots together that he was, working with a whole nother side crew, and then it just goes to him like shipping the money to himself in Panama, and then it cuts to him in London.
See, you know what this almost kind of reminded me of, honestly, was the third Die Hard movie, Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Right.
Whenever they hit the New York Federal Reserve in that one.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it's the same, but they tried to make it different. And I felt like it had very similar storyline. Like, okay, they had a distraction to get the money out of there. They used trucks to get the money out of there. They used a big distraction to get all the police, whatever. And
right.
I felt like, honestly,
riddles.
if they would have had more of a relationship between the protagonist and the antagonist, like in Die Hard 3, Simon was Hans Gruber's brother.
Yeah,
right.
some sort of backstory that explained why the two hated each other.
Right. Would have totally not hurt Ice Nugget being the mastermind at all. In fact, it would only strengthen it if he knew that there was a previous rule or some sort of connection.
Some sort of beef.
Yes.
Between those two. Yeah.
I feel like it would have tied up things nicely.
Both interrogations would have been so much more juicy at the end if when he got picked up by Gerard Butler in the beginning and he's like, holy crap, this is the guy that hates Merriman.
Right, right.
And then when Merriman finds out that Gerard Butler knows him, the Nugget, and he interrogates him, he could have been like, he knows it's you, and that's why he's coming after me, but I didn't tell him anything, and this is your chance to get him back.
Right.
Like, I'm going to help you out to get Gerard Butler. It would have been totally much better. I mean, I guess it would have maybe given him away like made him more of the obvious mastermind.
Yeah.
But I don't think that hurts. And Ocean's 11, George Clooney has beef with who's the bad guy?
Andy Garcia.
Andy Garcia. Thank you.
Right. What did you like about the movie, if anything?
Gerard Butler was great. Dusty B leaned over and said Nugget was totally snitching, and right there I was like, unless he's lying. And that from right there kind of made me
think
of him.
Yeah.
And when they ask Merriman, how do you get all the information, immediately put the question in my mind, who is giving him all the information? I thought it might have been a cop, but or someone on in the bank was giving Merriman all the information. But when it was revealed that it was Ice Nugget, I was like, okay, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
But honestly, like for me, Nugget, O'Shea Jackson is much better in the movie about his dad.
Straight Outta Compton.
Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah.
That is way
Yeah.
better acting for him. In this movie, he's not really
It
doing
was.
a lot.
I
Except
agree with that, but I think it was still. I think
He's
as him
good.
coming as an actor. I think
He's
getting-
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
as for performance, him playing his dad is you can't take your eyes off.
I
of
think
him.
he's a better actor than his dad, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, way better actor than his dad.
Is
With
that
his
legit
intensity.
Ice Cube's son?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
had no idea.
Yeah. Straight up.
Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah.
I never saw that one, but
It's really
good.
good.
It was
really
It's
good.
really good.
It's another long movie.
I just
Yeah.
say
It's
it's
really
a long
good.
one. That's why I haven't buckled into watching.
Watch
Right.
that and then watch the Defiant ones. Gives you a lot of backstory and both the true story behind all of it.
yeah,
Right.
the Defiant one is a
So
documentary.
he does, because when I was honestly looking at it before you guys even said anything, when you were like, "Oh, Ice," I heard you guys talking like Little Ice Cube in the movie, and I was like, he does look just like Ice Cube, like back in like the Friday days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs to get the little 3 moles tattooed
There
on
was
his
Yeah.
face.
there was honestly even funny. There was a part where he gets tased by Gerard Butler and he gets knocked out, and I heard one of you guys go, "You got knocked out."
Yeah. That was me. That was
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
I was like, "Oh man, that he does really look like Ice Cube."
As far as good things about this movie, like what did I like about this movie? I'm still kind of processing it. Like I haven't really decided. I definitely know what I don't like about the movie, but as far as what I did like, it's really hard to say.
If you were to narrow it all, is it just the length is the main thing for you?
There was just so much to take in. You know, 2 hours and 20 minutes in a movie that I think could have been easily done in 90. I mean,
That, and honestly, I feel like it was just a copy of just about every other heist movie we've already seen.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
heist movies are heist movies. I just
Yeah.
think they had to come
Yeah.
out with a heist movie every couple of years just to keep people
Keep the
like
genre
me, my
alive.
palate refreshed.
Right,
I love
and they did kind of add in some new technology things, but at the same time, though, I feel like even though Ocean's 11 had 3 movies, and
Well,
honestly,
they
they
kind of do another one.
Yeah,
the,
the
so
rebooting.
oh god, don't even get me started on the female fucking reboots. As a woman, I'm just saying, is it really necessary to take a classic male movie and your new spin on it is, hey, guess what? They have
Females.
vaginas.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that was horrible.
right.
And honestly, it was unnecessary. They would have been more beneficial to, okay, I know we're totally getting off topic here, but I'm going to throw you guys this one. This would have been a way better movie for Ghostbusters 3. Little Oscar, all grown up, being trained to take over the Ghostbusters.
That would have been better, in my opinion.
Agreed. I mean, like, it would have, you didn't even have to have all the Ghostbusters there. I mean, Harold Ramis was dead at that point. Egon wasn't coming back.
Right.
But you totally could have had, okay, Dan Aykroyd. You know Dan Aykroyd's character. Winston would have been around. Winston isn't going to have anything better to do, but definitely Ray. Ray never abandoned the Ghostbusters. Even after the second movie, he was still there. But, okay, we're totally talking about, we'll talk about Ghostbusters
Yeah.
another time.
Let's go back to Den of Thieves here.
Yes.
We'll wrap this up here. Yeah, it's really hard for me to say what I did like about the movie. I mean, it was entertaining. I honestly would like to watch it again
Yeah.
and try to pick up on some little things that I may have missed.
Watch it again.
Yeah, I definitely not pay for it and watch it again. But yeah, I'd like to watch it again and then maybe say what I did like about it, if anything. But Yeah, I mean, I'd watch it again at least one time, just to see if I could catch anything that I
What
missed the
heist
first
movie
time.
could you compare it to?
All of them.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I meant like as I don't know.
I'd say it's very similar.
as like a good one.
Very
like
similar
something
to
that's
Heat.
similar. Yeah, Heat is
very
first
similar
one that
to
comes to
Heat.
mind.
Very
Yeah.
similar to
When-
Die Hard.
When you brought up Die Hard with a Vengeance, I was like, oh yeah.
It is very
Yeah.
similar. It's almost like they took Heat, Die Hard, and Ocean's 11 and tried to combine them all.
And then
with,
Usual
with the sick
Suspects.
twist, yeah.
Like the M. Night Shyamalan twist.
Right. Shamalamalan.
Sha-la-la-la-la-la. Oh my god, you just find out that Ice Nugget was dead the whole time.
That'd have been great.
and he saw dead people.
Yeah.
Now 50 Cent's taking up the mantle. He's going to be the next dead guy in the next movie.
So what's our rating system here, Tim? Is it smash or pass?
No, squash it or watch it.
Squash it or watch it. I'd say watch it again for me, only because I've seen it once. I say if you're gonna watch it twice.
Yeah. I think it was very well shot. Like you said, the action
The
sequences.
cinematography's great.
Yeah, it looks great. A lot of the driving scenes look really, really good. Like even when Nugget's like driving around porn stash.
Even though
Right.
he is a driver, they call him a driver.
He's got
Never saw him drive at all.
except when he's showing.
Except when he's
When he's showing off, yeah.
but like he never drove in a heist.
Yeah.
Never saw him drive in the heist. So how was he actually the driver?
But I think that was maybe just like he told Gerard Butler, like, I'm just the driver.
Okay. I see
So
Yeah,
but he's
because
really-
he had that speeding ticket,
yeah.
which I guess is the
So-
only evidence
that. He
that
would
he
never
can
have his
drive.
license either.
Right.
That was
that.
impressive, though. That was a good character building thing for them. Was that's what got his attention. Was he had the highest recorded speeding ticket in California history.
Right.
He's like, well, how fast were you going?
178.
That almost seems impossible. Are there cars that go that fast?
Oh yeah, there's
Oh, yeah.
supercars that go
Other
that
than the
fast.
ones that NASCAR has specially manufactured, or
There's
you
supercars
know,
that go faster than that.
Oh, yeah.
And that wasn't the speed. That wasn't like his top speed. That was the speed at which he got pulled over.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Right.
That's
Well, he
what they
was-
said.
They also said he was a driver for like a year. He was like some kind of race car driver too.
And
Yeah.
this
Did
is
they?
Said that. Yeah, they said he raced on some kind of circuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even then, that's not how he got porn stash. His porn
No.
stash, he just came to him with the idea, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which kind of makes me go back and think, why did he even have that driving scene?
Well, that was his
With him.
story.
See, that's what I was asking. That's
that
why,
was
what
just
was the whole
that was a
point in that?
flashback, but it didn't actually happen.
Yeah.
So you're saying you don't think that actually happened?
No,
I would.
because
think
that
his
was in
driving-
the interrogation scene, and as we know, the interrogation scene was all bullcrap to begin with.
Right.
Well, the driving scene happened because they got out of the car, and I think they talked about it after
That was
he was
all
driving.
in Nugget's story.
in the interrogation scene. Yeah.
But
Right.
that scene happened because they got out of the car, and he was like, "Make sure this is my heist. This has my name on it."
Yeah, I
That
thi-
was
I
when
think
they
that's
were
when that
walking Out
happened,
of the
yeah.
car.
So how you probably would say that it's a,
Like a blur,
I mean, like a
gray.
smash or a pash. How would you feel like it is?
Oh,
Squash it or watch
Squash it or watch
watch
it.
it or watch it. I say watch it. I mean, I'm not like I didn't walk out of there going like, oh God, I'm glad that's over. I was entertained.
it. Right.
I think like there was a lot of like scenes where I didn't want to look at my watch. The interrogation scene, one of them. Some of the stuff I'm just like, this is so crazy, and trying to figure out why it's happening. Like the restaurant scene, like there's so much WTF going on in that scene. I was like, I'm riveted because I don't know what the hell is going on.
Right.
Like it's too long to really rewatch or like pick it out of my DVD collection, or if it was streaming, like I don't have 2 hours and 20 minutes to devote, you know.
Right.
But on a whole, for a January movie, there's not a lot out there in theaters. I think Den of Thieves is definitely worth it to go, and if you really want to go see a movie.
Right. Dusty B, what do you think? Squash it or watch it?
I'll watch it, of course. 'Cause
Watch it.
You know me. I like
Love the heist
I
movies.
love the heist movies, man. So that's one I'm going to add to the collection for sure. But yeah, like what Tim was saying, it's like for being January and there's not a whole lot out, so it's a
Right.
pretty good movie. Like I said, especially if you're into action, guns and things like that. It's right up your alley. So
Definitely.
if you like that kind of
So
stuff.
much WTF. I like that in a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Shyamalamalan.
Pretty creative. I mean, they've done heist movies with the same thing, but some stuff was creative.
We see that dude dumping ass into a bucket, and then he just walks away and hangs up his
Yeah, that
bucket,
was
and he's
kinda
like,
funny.
I'm done.
He's like,
Yeah.
I'm
So
done
much
for the day.
WTF going on, man. There's a lot to pick up on.
Right.
Yeah.
Jenny, what about you? Squash it or watch it?
I feel like the only way I would have seen this movie if I hadn't had to like almost do it for homework tonight. I feel like I would have seen it probably. Let's say I have a Netflix and chill encounter, and we put it on as background noise. It's probably about the only way I'd watch it again. Let's put it that way.
If you hadn't watched it tonight,
Did it feel like homework?
It didn't feel like homework, but I'm just saying the only reason I saw it, technically, I'd never even heard of it, had no interest in it. About the only thing that could have sold me to watch it, which is the exact reason why it did sell me to watch it in the first place, was Gerard Butler was in it.
Yeah.
I don't have anything against heist movies or anything like that, but I mean this is not my go-to genre.
Right.
I will probably go for a comic book movie or a comedy or a horror movie faster than I will go for this. But that being said, do I feel like the movie was terrible? No, I don't feel like it was terrible. I feel like just because I feel like it's literally, as aforementioned, a blend of every heist movie I've ever seen already. I feel like in comparison to other heist movies, it's terrible,
Yeah.
to be honest. Just because it literally felt like it stole from the rest of them.
Right.
Right.
Was it done badly? No. So I guess I would say watch it. Give it a chance. See how you feel about it. Form your own opinion.
But borderline watch it?
Borderline watch it. Like I said, I seriously think the only thing that would have brought me to watch this had I not would have been just some guy was interested in it. It's not really. I don't think a lot of women are particularly, oh, I want to go see this action movie. The only reason I ever go see an action movie is because I just, have to.
Yeah.
I
I'm
mean,
with you.
I grew up watching Die Hard and stuff like that, but that was stuff that it was stuff that my brother watched and stuff like that. I never would have watched it if I hadn't, whatever. Is it terrible? No. I would probably recommend that you see it. I do feel like Gerard Butler did a really good job. It's just, I feel like, again, I've seen this, and it was so predictable for me. It was so predictable. And the thing of it is it could have been better. I will say that. It could have been better. Is it terrible? No. I'd say watch it.
All right, so that's 4 watch-its.
Yeah.
And I got to watch it again on there. But after I watch it a second time, then I'd be able to tell you watch it or squash it for sure. But I'd like to rewatch it again and just see if I can pick up on anything.
Yeah.
So, well, all right, go out, check out Den of Thieves. We liked it. A lot of the other reviews that have been out over the last week and prior to over the last week, not so great.
They've been mixed from
but I'd say the majority of them have been more bad than good.
Not from what I saw.
You've heard all good things?
I mean, like I said, it was mixed, but it wasn't like more bad than good.
50-50.
I would say it was about 50-50.
Right. Fair enough.
I saw like 8s. I saw like 3s. I saw 5s. And then it
Rotten
was, like,
Tomatoes gave it,
8s.
what, a 47 something?
40-something%. And
Yeah.
IMDb gave it a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I would go...
86% of people on Google liked it.
Yeah, it was a decent flick.
86% of people liked it. I mean, like, it's that's the thing of it is, though. I mean, like, I would never watch it again. Never. And that's the thing. Like, for me, that means it's a bad movie.
Maybe it's just because it was an action movie, and I don't think there's a whole lot of action movies out right now. That could be it, too.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're talking about slim pickings right now as far as the movies
True.
and what all's
Yeah,
out.
there's not a whole lot of action movies out right now.
The only movie that's out currently that I would have any interest in seeing is The Shape of Water. So, I mean, it's not my style. But even not being my style, I still feel like I'm honestly pretty angry that I feel like that it copied all the other movies. I hate that.
Right.
I hate that. I feel like it's unoriginal. I feel like it makes it super predictable. And I feel like anybody who knows how to tell a story is going to know where the story's going before it even happens.
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
My suspension of disbelief was not very suspended.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan then. So, that being said, go see the movie. Make your own opinion on this. Let us know what you think. You can hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff. We're on there. Go check it out. Obviously, if you're watching the YouTube video, give us a thumbs up. We'd appreciate that.
You get enough thumbs up, Jenny will take her shirt off next time she's on.
Definitely thumbs
I don't know
up
if that's really motivation to click thumbs up or thumbs down.
Can I like our own video? I don't know. But yes, if you like this, tell a friend. Help us get the word out there. Like the page, share the page. We appreciate everybody who's helped us out so far. Next week, we're going to be doing the all new. I guess it's safe to say it's a Western movie. I guess you could say.
Western. Yeah.
Crap, the
Hostels.
name Hostels. Yes, I was thinking Savages, but that's definitely not it. Hostels, starring Christian Bale and some other Indian Native American people.
Why do you say Indian?
I corrected myself with Native American. I know. Casino Indian, not Slurpee Indian.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know that was bad. But yeah, tune in next week. We're gonna be reviewing that, possibly again on a Friday night. Who knows? We'll see. But thanks everybody for watching. That's a wrap, pretty much.
Yep.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in.
Have a good one.
Bye.